I never thought the day would come when I'd catch my own husband with my son's fiancé. Even saying it out loud sounds like the beginning of a bad soap opera or some tragic comedy. But this was my reality. I remember that afternoon so clearly, like my heart had been carved open and dipped into ice water. I had gone upstairs quietly, looking for my husband because dinner was almost ready, and I wanted him to taste the soup before the seasoning got too much. You know me, I don't like anyone telling me after the food is cold, "Oh, it needs more salt." I like to handle things on time. But what I saw when I opened that bedroom door was not seasoning, it was poison. There he was, my husband, the man I had shared my life with for over 2 decades, kissing my son's bride-to-be like a hungry teenager. And the girl, oh, Lord have mercy, the girl who was supposed to wear white and stand beside my son in church, was acting like she had been waiting for this forbidden moment all her life. I didn't scream, I didn't cry. I just froze. My legs wanted to give way, but my pride stood them up like soldiers. In my head, so many thoughts rushed through. Should I grab a frying pan? Should I faint dramatically like in Nollywood films? Or should I just start clapping my hands and shouting, well done," instead? I took one step forward, ready to open my mouth and let thunder roll out. But before I could, I felt a hand grip my arm gently. It was my son, my sweet boy, looking at me with eyes that were not angry, not surprised but tired. He pulled me back, away from the door, and whispered, "Mom, please don't say anything right now." I turned to him, shaking like I had swallowed a storm. Don't. Your father is in there tasting the wrong soup. And you're telling me don't." My voice was cracking, but I still had enough sarcasm in me to spit fire. He leaned close, and I will never forget the way he whispered into my ear. His voice was calm, too calm for a situation this insane. He said, "Mom, I already knew. And it's worse than you think." At that moment, I felt my heart do a backflip. Already knew, worse than I think. My knees almost buckled. What could possibly be worse than this madness? I looked at him like he had grown 2 heads. And then, believe it or not, I started laughing. Yes, me, laughing in the middle of heartbreak. You know when pain is too much and laughter comes out instead? That was me. Half crying, half laughing, I whispered back, "Are you telling me this is normal? Am I in a Netflix drama? Somebody should call the producers because I want to walk out of this show." My son just held my shoulders firmly, grounding me, making me realize this wasn't a dream. Before I continue, my dear readers, let me pause here and remind you, this is real life we're talking about. And if you're new to my stories, please don't forget to subscribe to my channel Voices of Auntie Joy, because what I'm about to reveal next will shock you even more. Trust me, you don't want to miss it. Back to the story. My husband and that girl were still inside, giggling like fools, completely unaware that Judgment Day was standing right outside their door. But I couldn't move, I couldn't speak. My son's words kept echoing, "It's worse than you think." What did he mean? Was there more betrayal I hadn't seen? Was this just the tip of an iceberg of wickedness? My stomach twisted with dread. And yet beneath the anger a strange, bitter laughter bubbled up inside me. Because honestly, how much worse could it get? But oh, I was about to find out. When my son told me, "It's worse than you think," my heart did a full marathon without leaving my chest. I stared at him like he had just announced aliens were living in our kitchen. I wanted to shake him, to demand answers right there. But the look in his eyes stopped me. He wasn't angry, he wasn't even shocked. He was resigned, like someone who had been carrying a bag of rocks for too long. "Worse than I think," I whispered back, clutching his arm. "Are you telling me your father has been doing this for a long time? Or are you saying that girl, oh Lord, don't tell me, she's been with more than one person in this house?" My voice was climbing like a ladder, but my son held a finger to his lips, begging me to stay quiet. "Mom," he said softly, "I've known about Dad and her for months." I nearly fainted. Months, not days. Not weeks, months. I leaned against the wall because my legs threatened to go on strike. "You mean to tell me you were planning to marry this girl while she's been warming your father's chair behind my back? Have you lost your mind?" He closed his eyes and sighed, the way a man sighs when he's too tired to fight. "Mom, that's not all. She wasn't just with Dad. She was with," he paused. My heart stopped. He looked me dead in the eyes. "She was with my best friend too." At that moment, I didn't know whether to scream, cry, or burst into laughter like a mad woman. So I chose all three. I slapped my chest, gasped dramatically like I was auditioning for a Nollywood film, and then started laughing in that bitter way only betrayal can produce. "So let me get this straight," I said between half-hysterical giggles. "Your father, your best friend, and you were all sharing one plate of soup. No wonder she's always smiling. She must have thought she was running a buffet service. My son shook his head, clearly pained but also helplessly amused by my madness. Mom, please. I broke off with her months ago when I found out. That's why I didn't want to go on with the wedding. But you and Dad kept pushing, saying she was a good girl, saying she was wife material. I knew she wasn't, and now here we are. I froze, the memory hit me like a slap. Yes, I had been the one insisting he go ahead with the wedding. I had called him ungrateful when he wanted to delay things. I had even told him, good women don't just appear every day. Don't mess this up. And now, here I was, realizing I had been packaging betrayal in gift wrap and handing it to my son like a proud mother. Oh Lord have mercy, I groaned, covering my face. I was pushing you to marry a Jezebel in disguise. And your father of all people, was collecting free samples behind our backs. Ain, this world is wicked. My son chuckled despite himself. Mom, don't kill yourself with guilt. I already knew the wedding wasn't going to happen. I just didn't want you to find out this way. But now you see why I said it's worse than you think. The pain in his voice made me want to gather him in my arms and protect him like when he was a little boy. But instead, I straightened my back, lifted my chin and said, so what do we do now? Should we storm in there and pour cold water on their parade? Or should we play it cool and let the drama explode on the wedding day? He looked at me, and for the first time in this madness, a sly smile curved on his lips. I have a plan, Mom, but you'll have to trust me. I raised an eyebrow. Trust you? After you kept this secret from me all this while. Boy, you better explain quickly before I collapse right here. But he just shook his head, that same mischievous smile refusing to leave his face. Don't worry, Mom, by the time I'm done, Dad and her will regret ever crossing us. My heart pounded. I didn't know whether to be afraid or excited. All I knew was that my son was up to something, and I was about to be dragged into the performance of a lifetime. When my son said he had a plan, I didn't know whether to clap for him or cry. He looked too calm for someone whose fiancé had been caught in the act with his own father. I wanted to ask 100 questions, but he just squeezed my hand and said, Mom, trust me. Trust? At that moment, trust was the most expensive thing in the world. I couldn't even trust my cooking pot anymore, because I wasn't sure who had dipped their spoon in. But seeing that sly confidence in my son's eyes gave me a little courage. We didn't confront them that night. Instead, we tiptoed away like two thieves, escaping from their own house. The next day, life went on as if nothing happened. My husband was whistling at breakfast, like he had just received a promotion. That girl, my almost daughter-in-law, was smiling sweetly at me, helping with the dishes, calling me Mom, as if her lips weren't still hot from kissing my husband. I sat there, nodding, smiling. But inside, my blood was boiling hot enough to fry plantain. The wedding day came quickly. Friends and family gathered. The church was decorated beautifully, and everyone was in high spirits. Only my son, and I knew the volcano that was about to erupt. I was sweating, fanning myself with the wedding program, wondering if I should faint early just to escape the drama. Then it happened. The pastor asked the famous question, if there is anyone here who knows why this man and woman should not be joined together, speak now or forever hold your peace. Before I could blink, my son stepped forward. My heart nearly jumped out of my chest. Oh Lord, this boy has gone mad. I thought, but his voice was steady, loud, clear. Yes, Pastor, he said. I know why this wedding cannot go on. Gasps filled the church, heads turned. The bride looked pale, my husband choked on his own saliva, and I was 2 seconds away from fainting for real this time. My son continued, this woman standing here in white, this so-called bride, has not only betrayed me but also betrayed my family. She has been in a secret relationship with my own father. The church exploded, people screamed. Some covered their mouths, others stood up like they were in a courtroom. I wanted the ground to open and swallow me whole. My husband's face turned the color of burnt yam. And the bride, oh, she tried to deny it. She shouted, it's a lie, he's framing me. But my son was ready. That boy was smarter than I thought. He pulled out his phone, connected it to the projector, and pressed play. And there it was, the video evidence. My husband and the bride, caught in one of their shameless meetings, giggling like children in stolen candy shops. The church went silent, the kind of silence that comes when thunder has just struck. My husband tried to speak, but the pastor raised his hand. Sir, please, no words. This is an abomination. I wanted to cry, but instead I laughed. Yes, in that moment of disgrace. I laughed so hard my sides hurt. Because really, what else could I do? Betrayal had knocked on our door, but my son had turned it into a full-blown drama series. People whispered, some shook their heads, some even clapped for my son's bravery. The bride's family left in shame, dragging her along, while my husband couldn't even look me in the eye. He walked out of the church like a dog, with its tail between its legs. That day my heart broke, yes, but it also healed, because I realized my son had inherited my strength. He didn't just sit back and let betrayal swallow him. He exposed it, with dignity and with proof. Later that evening, as we sat together at home, I looked at him and said, "Son, today you taught me something. You taught me that laughter, courage, and a little smart planning can bring down even the biggest giants." He smiled and hugged me. "Mom, we'll be fine, we're stronger without them." And you know what? He was right.